Sabrina. Welcome back to my channel. So for today, I'm going to do a walkthrough in my Hobonichi cousin for May. May took me a while to put together because I just wanted to stay more current with June. So I will admit that I just wrapped up May not too long ago, but like I had the bits and the pieces there. It was just a matter of finding time to kind of fill them in. And like I said, I was focused on June, especially with Week in the Life, which was the first week in June. And I wanted to make sure I stayed on top of taking notes for Week in the Life. And if you don't know what that is, it's basically an intensive documenting project of your life. And you take all kinds of photos throughout the day, plus you take notes. So that was my focus at the beginning of June, not filling in the gaps for May. Okay, so this page right here, I use it for different pieces that didn't make it on journaling pages, like some arrows, a quote about Mother's Day, these flowers didn't make it on a project. I also went through my box, my little random box, pulled out stuff that I wanted to add to here. Started off the first of the month, I always say hello May, and I think I do that for every month. So I'm pretty sure I did that for June too. Yep. Hello, June. And then I just talk about what I am looking forward to, talk about the students in my class, and then I talked about my daughter and how I was proud of her and what she was working on, which was track and field. And so I just used Mandy Ford, all kinds of clear stickers. Turn the page, and this is all QuirkyHeart Designs along with this page as well. She has a monthly printable kits that she puts out, and so I used this one to document a larger photo and a longer story about my daughter going to a Girl Scout camp. And then I also did little things that make me happy along with some doodles. And as the teacher that I work with, she pulled a ticket for the drawing, the weekly drawing, and instead of writing the name, it said go potty in your pants. So that was like a big no-no. We should not put that on our tickets. And so I had to write that and then like kind of cover it up. But it was a hilarious story, so definitely had to include it. The next day was International Scrapbooking Day, so I talked about what I did during the day, also my son's soccer game, and a documentary that we watched. The following day was Sunday and another early soccer game for my son. And then it was just a rest day. And I dug through my really old die cuts and printable collections and found this Tracy Reed collection. I had this in my random box from a local Mexican restaurant. This is the random box. I try to clean it out every once in a while and make sure that there's more things that are along with the season. So right now there's more of the outdoor summer type things, but this piece of ephemera was there, so I decided to use it, and some really old stickers that were all about nachos and salsa. So I just went with very bright colors. The following day, I took the day off and I went on a hike with my husband, and I used a QuirkyHeart Designs down-to-earth printable collection all about hiking. We also went to lunch at a burger place, so I took the wrapper and I added it here in several different spots. So I really love how that turned out. The next day was a car wash for Teacher and Staff Appreciation Week, and I absolutely was just amazed that they not only cleaned my car, but they also vacuumed the inside of my car. So I definitely had to put a little story about that. I had a student give me a bracelet that was about bees, because that's what the classroom theme is bees. And in art class, I saw the kids do gecko drawings. And then this last one is just about hidden treats in the classroom that helped me get through the day. Thursday, I was pulling things to use for this page, or trying to find something to pull for this page, and I found this quote and I decided to pair it with this. And so I went with like teals and blues, and I really love how the color scheme came together. So I did a currently list, talked about a really good laugh that I had, and then where I found rest and quiet. The following day, my husband and I went to a concert, so instead of documenting the whole day, I just talked about the concert. I found an image of the concert and printed that out really big, clear sticker, and used an app called PicFrame to make a collage of photos, and then just talked about the concert and who we saw and all the really good songs that we listened to. For the 10th, I continued the 10 stories, and just to remind you, this is something I started back in, January. This is February, but I thought about the project, the scrapbook project that I did where I documented 10 photos for the 10th, and I did that project for a while. And so in my journal, I decided, why not do 10 little stories? So that's what I'm doing all throughout the year. This is May, and just to show you how June turned out. June was super awesome and exciting to make because it was the last day of school. But May's, I used Mandy Ford. I printed out a row of cacti, another one up there, and then just used really bright colors to do all the stories. The next day was Mother's Day, and I really loved this quote. And so instead of going with bright colors or florals, I went with neutrals. And then I just talked about motherhood and what it means to me. Also talked about our celebration with Oma and Opa. And then used some washi tape that I got from the Coffee Monster Co. I just have to put a little sample when I get new washi, and I'm sure I'm not the only one that does that. For this next day, we started on a new week, and I really wanted to figure out a way to use this clear sticker from Mandy Ford, and it had lots of different colors in it, and I wasn't sure how I was going to bring it all together, but I think I did okay. I brought in some light pink, some purple, and some blue, and it's a lot going on in this page, but I like how it turned out. So all the things kind of represented the agenda, since Monday's always a busy day. Talked about my daughter getting an owie, and then there's only 20 days left of school. This was another quote that was kind of floating in that random box that I showed you. So I decided to use it and go with more of a almost tropical color scheme, I guess. And I stamped little clusters right there. I also documented 10,000 steps because this was my 4th Tuesday hitting 10,000 steps. So it was really exciting to do that, even though I was feeling low energy. Started planning my trip with my friend Erica. We're going to Disneyland in September, and we are both very, very excited. Oh, and I did karate with my daughter. Every year, well, this is the 2nd year, they do moms on the mat and dads on the mat for Mother's Day and Father's Day. So that was really fun to do. Next up is the 14th, and this was in my calendar, hands off my desk. I think I've showed this to you guys before, but Linda Loves Creating, she shared this at the beginning of the year. So I went ahead and ordered one, and I love it. So you can see it's just full of fun little things you can cut out, funny little pictures for the day, and I love it. And so I save them. I save all of those, and then I tried to organize them in rainbow order, and I pulled out a separate pile for the summer. So I have Overthinker, Mountain, the Flamingos, Being Tired, Jellyfish, Being Deeply Tired, A Ripe Banana, Hamburger. All of these I think would work great for the summer. And I even pulled out a few that were ocean related because we recently went to the ocean and I finally used it. Let me show you real quick. I'm giving you a lot of sneak peeks of June, but I just want to show you how much I use these little images. So you can see here I had this one, Seagulls, and there was extra paper, so I used that as kind of a torn little border. So back to this page. We had an afternoon and evening where there was no kid activities. so I talked about that. I also printed out some clear sticker cacti to go along with this page, and this one was definitely a favorite. Over here, this is where I was talking about the animal reports in the classroom, and I also wanted to use this quote and just saying, you know, embrace that. Added in some stats for like currently stats like my steps, YouTube, and the total number of books. Also mentioned Pumpkin Jack, which is something that's been going on in the classroom I work in since November. And so we finally had some sprouts in there, and it was very exciting. The kids were just thrilled. For the 16th, I pulled out some more of my older die cuts and then print some more of the clear stickers. But this is from the cut shop, and Ashley, the owner, had done a monthly kit, and I just loved these colors and ran with that. So I talked about how exciting Friday is. It always is. A list of work stories, and then my daughter running for student council. Over here, there wasn't much that went on Saturday, and I really wanted to kind of celebrate the Coffee Monster Co. washi tape. So I decided to get a bunch of them and just line them up down here and use kind of some of the colors from here to do 5 different stories. And I really love how that turned out. Super simple, super fun, but it definitely documents a little bit of the day. Next up is a Sunday, and this was a super productive Sunday. I had on another one of these calendar pages, and it had to-do list, and it was like a little calendar singing. So I went with that for my colors, talked about a to-do list, and I even did some doodles for an alarm clock and some banners there, and a weekly recap for each of the days. Here it starts a new week, and it was reading week at my work. So I talked about how I was excited to participate in that and do the different activities with the students, and also wear reading themed shirts. I got 2 more this year, so I think I had 4 total, because I was hoping to wear one every single day of the week, and I'm not sure if I did. I think I did, but I can't remember. Also included a list of notifications on my phone, which is an easy thing to document. You just keep track of the notifications, don't clear it off your phone or take a screenshot. I also did a behind the scenes video about my scrapbook space, so that is right there. A big photo, and then I talked about it there. When you see numbers in here, that usually references the Coffee Monster Co. Helen and her prompts. So I just did 3 there since I wanted to kind of fill in the page. For the 20th, it was a really special day. There was a teacher at the school that I work at who passed away from cancer. I had never had the opportunity to work with her, but she seemed like an incredible person from what I knew from my coworkers. So the coworkers put together, the people that worked with her, put together a Pete the Cat Day. So it was really special, very emotional, very emotional. We even had an art gallery. Every class made some Pete the Cat posters, and then we walked through the hallway looking at those posters. So emotional, and her family was even there to see the posters. And so I decided to doodle a Pete the Cat and also play off of those colors. So really special page, and it was just a very special day for that beloved teacher. For the next day, I actually took my daughter to work. She didn't go on the school field trip, so I took her to my work, and she had a lot of fun hanging out with me and doing different jobs that I had for her. And then this quote I just love. I think it's from Brittany Frost Designs, I want to say, but she does so many fantastic quotes. I love them. This one says, "Life is like a helicopter. I don't know how to operate a helicopter." So had to include that one. And I was trying to do a doodle border around here, but it didn't quite work. That's okay though. 22nd, I got my first order of the Coffee Monster Co. subscription washi. So I added in a sample of it and used those colors to talk about the different stories in the day. So no activities for the kids. It was a half day. I did a little quiz about what kind of reader I was. and there was also a 5th grade patriotic show. And I have a little photo that I want to add here. I just haven't added it yet. Again, talking about Friday and how I was excited to make it to Friday. Sometimes I love looking up color schemes for, different months or color aesthetics, and that's what I did here. I also was listening to Blink 182 because I was listening to Mark Hoppus' memoir, and it just had me going back to listen to all their different music. For the 24th, I absolutely love this page. I got a pedicure with my dear friend. She's also my coworker, which is even better. And I was able to tuck in a photo right here with the cacti, and all of these stickers are from According to Allie. Decided to make it a little extra special with drawing in with my green marker and then using the hard tip Tombow to write the different words. And then there's 2 smaller stories here, and then talking about outside time. The next day, since we didn't have school on Monday, I decided to take the kids to the new Lilo and Stitch movie, and my daughter brought a friend. So I found a really cool picture and just printed it out clear. And I just love how it turned out. Lots of different colors going on, but it really works. And then down here is just a quick little list of everything else that went on during the day. Monday, the new week, and this was Memorial Day, so I printed out this screenshot from Peppa Post, and I just talked about Memorial Day, what I wanted to get done during the day, and also getting my hair done. Going back to work, the teacher that I work with, she calls it Moose Day, so I decided to call Tuesday Moose Day and add a list of work stories. And then at Foursquare, I kept hearing the kids say, "You're a hairy potato," and it was because of the Lilo and Stitch movie. So I found a little tiny sticker or a little image that I could print out, and I just printed it really small. I measured and it fit in really nicely. The 28th, I found some shorts that I had been missing, and so I was excited about that and decided to put that as kind of my main story, along with this one about making donuts. The art teacher did a clay project with the kids, and they really, really loved it, so I decided to talk about it, and I was able to use up some old stickers and washi. Another set of Helen's questions here, and I just love how they make you think. Over here, quick list of today's stories, and then I want to put a photo of me journaling after I got my hair done, or a photo of me after I got my hair done. I can't remember which one, but I'm going to add it in there. At the end of the month, I discovered Collage Club, and I decided to subscribe, and I absolutely love her illustrations, and it's just the best. I even have a separate little tray for her illustrations. They're printables, so you could print them on cardstock, whatever kind of paper you want. I've been using clear sticker. I printed a bunch of hiking ones because I went on a trip with my friend, but you can see here, this one says done. There's flowers, books, low battery. So I love them. I didn't find my glasses, and apparently I had thrown them in my laundry basket, and I never throw them there, so I didn't know where to find them. So I kind of told myself, note to self, don't put them in the laundry basket anymore. Did a list of favorites during May. For the 30th, I again used Collage Club right there, talked about stick bugs and how like the whole day in class, it was about stick bugs and learning about them, because we found one on campus, but we were not sure if it was an escaped stick bug from 5th grade or if it was a stick bug that actually was on campus, if that makes sense. Words for today, different words to describe what was going on. And then my coworkers and I played a game of unintentional telephone. I needed to get a message, and I wound up getting a message from my coworkers who were on the other side of campus. So it was kind of fun. Over here on the 31st, I did another screenshot quote from Instagram, talked about the temperatures, friend hangouts, and then a few May stats. I wish I had done a few more stats, but I felt like it was getting similar to faves, and this one needed more numbers, and I didn't have a lot of numbers that I kept track of. So I just did what I could and called it done. So that is May. I hope you guys have enjoyed listening to all my different stories and how I put together May. I would appreciate a thumbs up or a subscribe if you are new to my channel. Have a great day. Bye.